Hey everybody, welcome to my Suburban Oasis. It is a gorgeous fall day outside today. It's a little bit chilly, but I have to tell you that the colors are still glowing, and so I thought it would be really fun to take you around the yard for another weekly garden walkabout and tour. Let's go check it out and see what's glowing today in the garden. So the view out my back sliding glass door is still amazing. If you just look at these beautiful viburnums and the gorgeous diamond rose hydrangea. Even though we've had some heavy frosts and some freezing night temperatures, the color is still just magnificent. And I just want to do a little bit of a sweep about of the colors that are in all of the larger trees right now around my property. It is so beautiful. The trees, because of the cooler weather in the fall that has lasted for longer, have just continued to hold on to their leaves almost a month longer than they normally do. It's made for some really late garden cleanup, and some kids are outside right now enjoying the beautiful weather and some of the last warm days. But it is gorgeous. Here in the potager garden, things are definitely winding down, but look at the color on the Geranium. It's really starting to pop. It's almost a bright fuchsia on some of the leaves. It's such a wonderful alternative to some of the hostas, and it's definitely very deer, rabbit, and even groundhog resistant. I actually really like the look of the garden this time of year as things are beginning to die back. I just take a lot of joy in all of the different changes that are happening, and I think it's really important to do that so you can get the most enjoyment possible out of your gardens. And you'll see there's lots of different tones and color palettes to think about. One of the other things that's really interesting this time of year is how the leaves fall and carpet the different areas. It's especially fun when you can see them on pathways and all the different leaf colors, textures, and sizes. They're so fun to see. The tropical garden is looking very clean and tidy right now after we took down those banana trees. And while I miss them, I do think that just kind of opens up the space, and it's nice to have that view this time of year so that it's a clear view to all of the different colors. We still have a bit of cleanup to do with some of the pool supplies and putting them away into the shed, but we've got the cover on the pool. You can see one of my hardy hydrangeas over here, one of my hardy geraniums over here is beginning to turn color. Right at the edge where it's gotten the coldest bits of frost and wind. Isn't that beautiful? Even the strawberries in the potager garden have some colors on their leaves. And I have some tomatoes that have fallen in here that will probably reseed themselves for next year. And just look how these strawberries have continued to bloom. It's a little outrageous to me that there are blooms on strawberries in November. But these are the proven winners, buried treasure version, and they are so beautiful. And they are so prolific that they have not given up at all during the entire gardening season. Also shocking is the continued bloom power of this ultra pink phlox. It's amazing to me that it has continued to bloom despite freezing temperatures. And of course the beautiful reds of this blueberry plant. And the aronia has really begun to take on its fall color here. I can't wait for this to get bigger and to spread, because this one stays rather small and mounding habit. And I split off a small section of it and replanted it right here. And it is looking beautiful. Now over here, I do want to show you what this 9 bark looks like, because it is simply glowing. Look at that fall color. I don't know what color that is, but it's amazing. It's like burgundy. And the ferns, even though they have been hit by the frost and the icy winds, the dark brown black of their fronds as they kind of crinkle up is also beautiful in and of itself. Now I will be coming through soon to clean up my hostas, so that will be a project to do. I think right now if I clean them up they would not pull away very easily, and I like to wait until the foliage has really gotten to the point where it's easy to come in and just take the top parts of the foliage away from the roots by hand and not have to worry about clipping them. I love, love, love the way these hawthorn leaves look on the path. And just look at the little periwinkle flower here on the stone. Isn't that beautiful? It's amazing to me that things bloom in November. I can recall one December, I think it was December 5th, I had a bloom one year in my garden here in Michigan, which is pretty unheard of. Here's my hopscotch Fun and Games heuchera, which has gotten much darker with the cold. It's interesting to see what colors they take on. But just look at the beauty of this path. It's so woodland-like. And I just adore that look. I'm gonna wait a little while before I clean up this path because it almost looks like rose petals being scattered about. And the tiny little colorful berries falling off of the hawthorn down onto the ground. You know, it's these very small things in life that you have to take the pleasure in. The everyday beauty and the changing of the seasons. And I hope that those of you who don't have seasons can appreciate this type of video as well, where we share how things change in different areas of the country. Our climates are so different everywhere. I have one incredibly bright Virginia leaf back there. You can see it sticking up. Some of the other ones that have changed colors are much smaller. And again, with the ultra pink phlox in this bed is still blooming. Still blooming. I wonder how long that will last. Probably not much longer. Even the Annabelle hydrangea is beginning to turn its yellow colors. I do love the colors that this Japanese Hakone grass is turning. It's almost a brown, orange, yellow color, and it blends in so beautifully with the hostas along this fence. In fact, this one right here, which is next to the heuchera and the pieris, with the beautiful colors from the spent blooms on the pieris, I cannot believe how gorgeous that looks. I didn't know those would change colors as well. And you see I have a little Virginia right here. And even that Father Gila is getting much brighter. Look at that. I mean, it's like a glowing orange. Holy moly, it's like something set it on fire. I still haven't put about my leaves yet, but I am very close. I did one load of them and now I have 2 more. So I will get those out into some of my garden beds to help make the soil even better next year. Just look at this with the Japanese maple in my neighbor's yard and the gorgeous maple behind it, the yellow and the deep burgundy purple. And here I have a geranium still blooming. Look at that. It's so blue right now. So blue. And the barberries are starting to change. So even though they start out a red, they become much brighter with the changes in the season. So you get that glowing, fiery look. And then the deutzias are absolutely crispy and turning black at this point and losing all of their leaves. But they were a beautiful dark purple before turning black and then getting crispy. And again, these heucheras are wonderful for interest because they maintain their color and are somewhat evergreen in our climate here. Even this clematis is beginning to turn its colors. And look at this viburnum now, super dark. I mean, this is almost a complete maroon. Gorgeous. And the red is coming out on these limoncello barberries. I am so hopeful that I'll be able to see some blooms on this viburnum next spring. It's called Opening Act, and it should have white baseball size, or opening day, excuse me, white baseball size snowball viburnum flowers. Now here's an interesting contrast for you. I showed you the hopscotch. This is another one right here, which is a little more protected and receives more sun. So it's interesting to see how things age and what they do in different areas of the yard. Everything's so colorful, even though spent foliage of the hostas over here that are bright yellow. So let's go check out the front yard and see what the garden's doing out there. Oh, that raspberry's coming to my lips. So this is my neighbor's burning bush, and this is on the west side of the house. It is also getting some sun from the south, and you can compare that to the burning bush on my side of the house, which is facing east and gets just a little bit of morning sun, but then it's also protected from the south side by the fence, and it has barely turned and just has some very dark color. Now this was one that I pruned back quite severely this year, but next year I think it will look rather nice. I really wanted to bring the height of it down. It'll be interesting to see how long these PG hydrangea panicles last, because they are all dried out, and gosh, they're gorgeous. They look so pretty to me. I love panicle hydrangeas for the use in arrangements or other things. So here's the front porch area. Not much to write home about right now, but it's nice and tidied up, and I am probably going to be taking these jack-o'-lanterns and throwing them over my back fence to feed to the deer. They always enjoy that. And if the groundhog hasn't decided to hibernate yet for the winter, he will probably have quite a few bites as well. And this is my dried seed heads on the Pentasetum. One of my favorite beds to look out on right now from inside the house is this front garden, and you can see why. All of the deep shades, so many rich colors, both in the barberry as well as the oak leaf hydrangea. It just keeps getting better and better. I know the leaves are going to fall off soon, but I'm going to enjoy every last second of having them. So pretty. Even the weeping cherry has put on some color. Gets a little yellow and a little bit of that deep dark purple. All of the mums are just about finished as it gets darker and darker. I did get a new viburnum. I planted it under here. It's the wabi-sabi kind. I'm not sure that this is its permanent home, but I just wanted to get it into the ground somewhere. And then look at that Japanese maple in front of the house. Isn't that pretty? It's turned all sorts of different shades for us. This year has just been absolutely fantastic, I think, for color in the garden in the fall. Here we have a pink sparkler. This is a spirea. And this Fothergilla really, this is the blue shadow. It does not put on as much color because it is much more protected. You can see one leaf down here got very much colorized by the cold. And then I have some more Virginia over here. Look at the color on this. And then the barberry behind it. Okay, the leaves are almost the same color as the berries now. And this lily of the valley is just glowing. Still not much color on my low-growing fragrant sumac here. It's interesting. You never really know what's going to happen in the garden, and that is definitely one of the things that I like about gardening. More Virginia here. Look at that color. And this is looking really good as well. Everything's just kind of dying back the way it's supposed to. Nothing too dramatic, but I hope you enjoyed the color today. Well, thanks everybody for joining me for this walkabout and garden tour. I sure hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. Let me know what's glowing in your garden this fall. We'll see you next time. Bye!